Hey, what's up guys, Alan here. Welcome to another episode of Thoughts on This, where I speak on my thoughts. And today I'll be giving my thoughts on Freakier Friday. So as you may know, I gave my thoughts on the other three Freaky Friday films, and now I'll be giving my thoughts on the 2003 sequel, which I have given my thoughts on before, but now I'll be giving my full thoughts on it. Freakier Friday is the long-awaited sequel to the 2003 adaptation of the classic Mary Rogers story, and this time it features a four-way swap. Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis return to reprise their roles and are joined by Julia Butters, Sophia Hammonds, Manny Jacinto, Vanessa Bayer, and Maitreya Ramakrishnan. The film was released in theaters on August 8th of this year and later dropped on Disney Plus earlier this month. Now, what did I think about this film? Kind of like what I said in my last review, out of all the Freaky Friday adaptations, the 2003 film was one of my favorites, one of my favorite movies growing up, and when word got out about a sequel being made, I was intrigued, and of course I had to check it out, so I watched it and it delivered. It was funny, wholesome, and it replicated the same heart of the first film, which is quite a rarity for most sequels that aren't normally as good as their predecessors. And I'm glad to say that for this sequel specifically, that wasn't the case. The film had all the charms that made the first film great, and it added a few more details just to fit in with the current decade. The visuals are mind-bending. The visuals in the 2003 film were also mind-bending, but since it has been over 22 years since that film came out, everything from the cinematography and production design were all upgraded. The body switching sequence was the most staggering scene to watch. The way the POV shots were used when the characters wake up in their new bodies was such a clever touch, and the scene where they all switch back was just as staggering. I also love the time passing montage being shown through a collage of pictures. It fits perfectly with the teen vibe of the movie. The cast brought a mix of heart and nostalgia into their performance. Seeing Lindsay and Jamie Lee together again was just a warm feeling. Their chemistry was just as good as it was in the 2003 film. Jamie Lee was probably the most funniest in this film. Her line delivery was comedic, and having her just make fun of herself was hilarious. Plus, she did not hold back. She went all out. Lindsay as well proved that she still got it. She has not lost a step, and I think she was actually more funnier in this film than she was in the last film. And she was more over the top. It was like she almost channeled Curtis's character from the first film. And she has definitely come a long way from all those legal troubles then to starring in films again. She proved that she was just amazing as she was back then. Plus, it was nice to see that she never forgot where she came from, and seeing her back on the big screen is just delightful. Also, I think it's funny to see her as the soon-to-be married mother and Tess be the laid-back one. It's ironic but also natural given how much their characters have evolved since time has passed. And having those two trying to act like the younger generation was comedic. The newer and younger cast members also had great chemistry with each other, and veterans Lohan and Curtis. It was nice to see two legendary actors share the screen with two rising stars. It made for a nice passing of the torch moment. Butters and Hammonds were versatile in playing teenagers and a mother and granddaughter respectively. It also made for some fun highlights, like them consuming a large amount of fast food, made for a nice reference to the 2003 film. Jacinto was charming as the new husband-to-be. He was likable and a very well-rounded guy. Bayer, Shuri Cola, and Chloe Fineman added more star power to this low-key stacked cast. Even though their roles were minor, they made the most out of their time in the film. Also, I'm surprised to see the amount of original cast members that returned in this film. Like, almost everyone, especially the key characters, came back. I like how they managed to bring almost everybody back, even if some of them had very minor roles. It added that extra kick of nostalgia. I also love that they kept the music a major aspect of this film. It ties into the story and helped flourish the development of the mother-daughter relationship between Anna and Harper. Their duet near the film was heartwarming, plus it was nice to hear Lindsay sing in this. And the song selection added that early 2000s throwback vibe that is mixed in perfectly with this current era. Plus, having Christina Vidal do a new cover of Take Me Away was nostalgic and refreshing. The new cover was just as good as the original cover, and it also gives the newer audience an introduction to this 2000s classic. My only issue with this film was that it felt a bit confusing and hard to follow because there were so many storylines happening at once throughout the middle of the film that it was hard to keep track. Like, you get the stepfather angle, the mother and daughter relationship, the two daughters trying to sabotage their parents' relationship, and Anna and Tessa's struggle of boundaries and parenting. Like, it's not terrible, but it was messy to the point where it felt like the story was dragging on for way too long. The amount of callbacks in this film is what added that extra something to make this film feel like a true sequel. A film that keeps the same spirit of its predecessor despite it being a slightly different story. And having Jamie Lee and Lindsay recreate the collision scene made my younger self laugh. That scene was as hilarious as it was back then. Overall, the film did a great job in respecting the legacy of the original by matching the same vibe and energy, while adding the right amount of nostalgia and something fresh. I wouldn't say it's better than the first film, but it did hit the right notes in honoring its predecessor. If you're a fan of the 2003 film, you would definitely enjoy watching this film. Despite the slow pace in the middle, it was still a fun watch, plus it's fun for the whole family. Alright, that sums up all of my final thoughts I have for this film, and if you agree or disagree, let me know down in the comments. And if you haven't already subscribed, that would really mean a lot. That's all I have to say, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!